to make a turtle resting on a lily pad today. First I took some clay, it's about the size of a pecan. I'm going to patty cake it out into a nice flat sheet, just really nice and thin. Just to show that it's got some organic movement, I'm going to leave it, not purposely go super flat and keep it paper flat. I want it to have a little bit of life to it, like it's on moving water. So it's okay that it's got some waves in it. But of course it's no thicker than my pinky. I don't want it to be too thick because I don't want it to blow up. And I want it to look like it's got some movement to it. So then I'm going to take my needle tool, and you can use your homemade paper clip on a pencil if that's what you have, and cut out the nice round lily pad shape. They always seem to have that little V, that little crease in there where the stem would come out, and the stem is under the water, so you don't necessarily see that. And then of course we don't want that rough sharp edge from cutting the clay, so I'm going to pat that down with my fingers to make that more of a rounded smooth edge rather than a sharp cut edge, because once it's fired in the kiln it's really sharp. Alright, so now I'm going to take and add the little veins. I'm taking the needle tool, lying the needle tool down most of the way so that the lines I make aren't jagged. Do you see the difference, how rough that line is in comparison to how smooth that one is? Laying the tool down lets you make a much smoother, clean line. And then there's less work for you to do, less cleanup for you to do. Adding that wave again. There we go. Now I'm going to make the little blossom that you see on the lily pads. I love those white blossoms with the many, many points. Taking and making a little snake. Then I'm going to use my thumb to press that snake flat. A coil, I guess you could call it. Press that nice and flat and thin. And then take the needle tool and cut out, and you could just do a zigzag cut all the way across, or to get cleaner lines, lay the tool down, and the tool kind of pinches that V out. Lay the tool down and remove the V. Do that all the way across, and pretty soon you'll see where I'm going with this. And maybe one more. There. Pat it down a tiny, tiny bit. And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to curl it up ever so gently. Not hard. I'm letting it press a little firm down at the bottom, but I'm purposely allowing the top to stay more open, gradually, gently rolling it and letting those peaks kind of point outward so that you get the look of the lily pad blossom. And you can define those little peaks just with the ends of your fingers. There. Isn't that sweet? And then of course you want to attach it firmly, so gently I scratch them at the bottom because it is kind of fragile. I don't want to push those peaks blunt and squash them by any way. And then scratch and wet the lily pad itself and position that together. Great. So that's really cute already, but we're going to add a turtle to it. Now this is all earthenware clay what I'm using today. You can also do this with the homemade play clay if you've gotten that recipe off of my Facebook feed or my other YouTube videos. The homemade play clay you don't have to hollow out. This, if you make something thick, it has to be hollowed out and everything you attach has to be scored and slipped. Right now I've just got this round bead that I'm pinching and caressing and smoothing into a nice rounded turtle shell. Just using my fingertips to kind of smooth and caress as I go along. Looking at it, anywhere that it sticks out too much, pat it in. Anywhere that it doesn't stick out enough, pull it out. Now I'm going to give it a little bit of an indentation because that is where the turtle is going to come out of its shell. The turtle head will come out there. So I'll make the little turtle head, taking just a little bit of clay. I always roll it around and around to get all the rough edges brought in. And then I'm going to draw forward the little nose of the turtle. They're kind of like a snake head. In my eyes, I see a turtle head and it looks very similar to a snake head. I like to use a pencil then to poke in the eye sockets and create that tiny subtle ridge. Do you see that? The subtle ridge makes it look like the eyebrow bone, you know, just that little bone above the eye. So then I'm going to take a super tiny pinch of clay and make ever so tiny eyeballs. And they should look alike. That doesn't look alike, so I'm going to make another one and see which ones look the most alike. So these two look the most alike to me. What I'm going to do, it's really hard to pick them up and get them in the eye socket, so I just take my needle tool, put a dab of water on it. See, there's a tiny bit of water in there, and then poke it and drop it in the socket. There we go. Dab of water in the socket, poke it, and drop it in. And there we go. Look at him. There's a face. We'll give him a little bit of a mouth with the end of the needle tool, just a super soft line. My application of the tool to the clay is so soft and gentle because these pieces are so small. It doesn't take much pressure. I'm going to score and slip the neck, score and slip under the shell, and put those two together. There we go. Okay, so now we need 4 feet. I like to roll out the legs and feet all together into the same coil because that way I know I've got the same thickness. So now I'm going to make all 4 pretty even so they're nice and consistent. All right, now I just squished the end of that, and I probably shouldn't have because if I goof one of these up, that would have been a great piece of coil to use instead. Now I'm going to take the tip of the tool and define the toes. Spread them. Soften them a little bit. If you have smaller fingers than me, you can even get in there a little easier and do more cleanup. So that's 1. Soften the end. Press the end of the needle against the blunt end of the foot. And there we go. There's some more toes. Next one. Yeah, if they look too square, then you can just finesse with the tip of the tool. If they're all bending the same direction, that doesn't really make sense. Then your turtle is only going to go into circles. Looks like this one's going to go into counterclockwise circles, so I'm going to have to do some changing there. I'll fix that in a quick moment. There we go. So now I'm going to turn this elbow. Oh my goodness, I turned it the same direction. I'm going to turn this elbow the opposite direction. Okay, so here we go. We need 2 going opposite and then the other 2 going opposite. I'll turn this one this way. There, that makes more sense, doesn't it? I can just totally see him making circles wherever he wants to go. All right, scratch and wet that on. Scratch and wet that on. There we go. Score and slip everything together because otherwise it's going to fall apart before it gets to the kiln. That scoring, that roughing it up and adding water kind of marries the clay together much more securely and it's not going to fall off, you know. Take out a little bit of clay for the tail, just a tiny, tiny bit. See that? And scratch and wet that on. I'm going to slip that right underneath. Now, this turtle shell is kind of plain. I think I'm going to add some shapes. You can use a pencil, a needle tool. You could make little beads and scratch and wet them on. You do whatever you like. I'm going to try, let's see, do a little circle here, nice and soft. Oh, and if I remember correctly, it's 5 down the middle. And then 4 on each side to have 13 sections. I was told that by a member of the turtle clan a long time ago, and so I've always made my turtle shells like that ever since. All right, so now, there he is. That's where he's going to rest. So I will scratch and wet him on. Nice and securely, but gently. There we go. All right, he's looking for a place to rest. Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, go ahead and like, subscribe, share. Thanks. Bye.